Hello, gentles and ladymen. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, and it wasn't easy getting this one either, just because I recorded this whole video, and then just randomly, for no reason, the video file got corrupted, and now I have to do it all over again. I'm bringing you a new strategy today for USA. Been a while since I've done a new USA strategy, but they do in fact happen. And this is a USA native strategy. Now it's very aggressive, but it's equally boomy, so you can play it as you please with this kind of strategy. Now we are on New England, which means I really only have access to one native settlement, and that is the Huron Mantlet, and I only have access to one post for them, which is not exactly ideal when you're doing a native build. You generally want two different natives, but it is what it is, you know. We're doing the strategy on this map anyways. Now, previously, USA had a lot of cards that were pretty decent synergy wise with natives, but they weren't really able to take advantage of it because it was too slow of a start in H1. Due to it requiring 200 wood and then you needing to chop 100 for your house and spend some time with your explorer doing it. But with this most recent update, we're now able to make trade posts with just 100 wood and 100 food, and without even needing to spend any seconds with our explorer to build it. So it allows us to get started right off the ground by building a house and a trading post with just our starting resources, and then immediately setting everybody to food and focusing immediately on Asia. Our first card is going to be Chinese Immigrants. This, of course, delivers a trade post wagon as well as allowing our trade posts that we already have to levy for more trade post wagons for free instead of getting Minutemen. A very, very good card for this kind of strategy, and very underrated and underutilized, I think. So here comes our trade post, and as you can see, we're already pulling out the levy here. Normally, you would have to wait for this one to fully build up a trade post, but because we have one already, it's good to go here. Now, at this point, I did discover that this Huron Mantlet was too close to the enemy's town center in order for me to make a trade post, so I instead opted to get two trade lines instead of two different natives. But you know what? It is what it is. It's less than ideal, but you know, you just have to roll the punches sometimes. I'm collecting sheep here to help age up faster, because you do age up just a little bit slow. We're going to be aging up with 13 villagers, and we're going to be aging with Pennsylvania. Now, while we're in age 1, I'm going to take a look at the deck here. As you can see, our only card in age 1 is the Chinese Immigrants. We're not bringing anything else. We don't need anything else. We don't need native lore or anything like that. We'll be able to afford all the upgrades we want just fine without native lore. Especially since native lore is much worse now that it no longer lowers the cost of... now that it no longer it just removes the coin cost, it lowers the overall cost by 20%, which is a hefty nerf in my own personal opinion to what the card does, because it essentially allowed you to just collect 2 resources for a very, very long time, and you're no longer able to do that. So here we go, aging up with Pennsylvania. This provides us with 2 cards. Starting in transition, we set 5, 6, 7 of our villagers, depending on what your natives are and what they cost, over to wood. In this case, I'm just opting for 5. And but the 2 cards Pennsylvania provides, one is the Advanced Church card, which provides a coin trickle, which is not exactly what we want or need right here, but it is nice to have. The better card that we have access to, at least for this particular strategy, is the Tamani Festival, which provides us a native embassy and allies us with the Cree, fully providing us with Cree trackers we can make, Courier de Bois we can make, and of course, Cree trackers, Courier de Bois, and of course, what am I thinking is the name here? And of course the Cree upgrades, one of which includes a 10% stat boost to all of your land military. A very, very valuable card, as we have basically lots and lots of different types of land infantry, and it's nice to have a card that buffs all of them. So yeah, we are going up to age 2 here. You'll see Riot in a little bit. Once I get to H2, three things are going to happen. I'm going to start training Mantlets. I'm going to ship Arkansas Post, and I'm going to ship Native Treaties. Because we have two shipments stockpiled up. We have three settlers queued. There's Arkansas Post. There's Native Treaties. We're getting another trade post rickshaw from our Chinese immigrants, and we're training Huron Mantlets. A lot just happened all at once, but it is possible to follow that. So this is the strength of the Chinese immigrants, is that one Age 1 card has now given me three trade posts. And then it'll be four trade posts and five trade posts as it goes along, and it's just such an invaluable card, such an incredible Age 1 card that's just worth so many resources. Now, Huron Mantlets are a little bit expensive. They're 100 food and 60 wood, so we're not going to be able to get a full batch of 5 like we might with some other natives, but 4 Mantlets is more than enough to do a lot of damage here. They do have 25 range attack, which is the same as a regular or a very powerful musketeer. And they have a whopping 45 siege and 40% range res with 250 base HP. These guys are very, very tanky, and they dish out quite a punch, too. Now we can see the British man over here is starting to build up a trade post, and he also aged up with the governor, so he's putting his outpost wagon over on the trade post. Pretty much the second we spot this, it was from Lakota's perspective that we saw this, but his perspective is my perspective. You know, we see his units roll past. We see the outpost going up. We see the outpost going up. And I had previously spotted the wagon, I think, so I pinged it, and I started moving my troops down here. The Huron Mantlets have 45 siege, so they'll clean this up very, very nicely. And there's really not too much the British player can do to stop us from ruining up his forward base that he was trying to set in stone. We're already hitting the Mantlets build pop. We have 2 more here. I have a trade post wagon ready to go as soon as this is destroyed. And yeah, we've just been training all the Huron Mantlets that we can find, you know. Now, at this point, I've sent, after Native Treaties, I sent the Tamani Festival. Now, with Arkansas Post, this card I mentioned earlier, this delivers 3 trade post wagons, and then allows our trade posts to build markets, meeting houses, and saloons. Now, the saloon we built from our military wagon aging up so that it gives us a little bit of coin trickle, because we don't really have anybody gathering coin right now. But now we can build the native embassy travois here. But this also allows all of our trade post wagons that we can get from Chinese immigrants here to also provide that little boost. So now we've sieged the whole thing down, and we're going to move our military back up north and get ready to push from there. Now, we have 4 Cree trackers. We didn't train those. Those came from Native Treaties. For those of you who don't know, Native Treaties stays in effect for the rest of the game. And if you make a new native alliance, with a new native after you send Native Treaties, you will still get those units. So as soon as the Tamani Festival card arrives, it came with 4 Cree trackers here. So now I need to chop a house, and I'm going to start training villagers and Coureur de Bois until I've capped out the Coureur de Bois, and then start making a little bit more military. I've now captured the whole trade line, and just because I had the whole trade line while I was at it, I went ahead and did Stagecoach, and I pretty much have a trade post boom going at this point, at this moment here. Red's small military force that he created got wiped pretty much immediately. And we are consolidating our forces to the north. As you can see, the Coureur de Bois are coming out. I've also sent Hamiltonian economics, and therefore I have all of the market upgrades going. And up next is Springfield Armory, so that we can get all of the upgrades that are relevant to all of our units. So Springfield Armory is coming up. And we are just playing Upgrade Central right now. Currently, we're getting the Huron Sun Ceremony, a very necessary card since I really only have access to 1 native settlement on this map, the Huron. This will triple their build limit so that it goes from the build limit goes from 10 to 30. Very, very insane tech that allows us to mass quite a bit of Haran Matlets with really only needing one native host. After the Springfield Armory, we are in fact getting the Virginia General Assembly, and we're just trying to chill here. We wanted to siege down a little bit more, but we recognize that this was a losing battle. British had a fair number of musketeers, and that took care of a lot of Lakota's bow rider mass, and he basically has nothing left. So we acknowledge that the smartest strategy was to simply pull out. And so we do. We dealt a lot of damage. We destroyed we destroyed a watchtower, and we started sieging this down. We dealt a fair bit of damage to their military, and really, I didn't lose a single matlet, and those matlets are basically untouched in damage as well. Now the ceremony is out, so you can see our build limit is now up to 30. State capital going out. Now with the state capital, you can get statehood, or you can get Oregon Trail, or you can get both. It's really up to you, and it is your game. From here, I started getting a few more people on wood now instead of just food. Now that I have all of my courier de bois capped, I think, or the last one is being trained, which means I can afford to have more people on wood and just a few less people on food. Now these matlets coming in clutch at their 40% range resistance, showing off their strength here. And they're just slowly picking down all of the enemy forces here, and they can't really do anything because the matlets don't really have very many things here. We're still getting the market upgrades. I was a little slow in that. And you'll soon see the Springfield Armory start to come out as well. I'm just a little bit slow just across the board with the strategy. Still, it's still something that I'm learning. Still something I'm ironing out all the kinks out of. But at this point, I have like every single trade post here. I have every single trade post that can be attained. So I decided that from now on I should start getting Minutemen until instead of the trading posts, since I also have capped out my meeting house and tavern spots as well. Still haven't gotten the Springfield Armory upgrades. A little disappointed in myself watching this replay back a little bit. But we are 11 minutes into the game, and look at this lineup of shipments that has been sent. There's the Springfield Armory, and here comes 700 coin. Now, this coin is going to help us age up to 3, because all we really need right now, we have all the matlets we need, we have all the economy we need to make the matlets, so all we need now is the elite upgrades, and we'll have plenty of stats to go with these very powerful matlets. I have now researched the tech at the native embassy. That gives all of my units plus 10% HP. So the Haran Matlets are getting plus 25 HP, and the Cree Trackers are getting plus 26 HP. The Cree Trackers have an insanely high base HP of 260. They have more HP than the Haran Matlets, which is a little silly when you think about it. Although the Haran Matlets do have much more range resistance, so they're still much, much tankier than the Cree Trackers. We're collecting the chests of coin, and we are going to be relying on the trade line here to give us the last coin we need so that we can age up. We're getting drummer's beats right now. We've gotten all of our market upgrades except for the woodcutting one in age 3, which obviously is not available until age 3. And, life is good. The enemy, it's not like the enemy can push us, We are pretty safe at the moment. Speaking of the enemy, let's take a look at what they're doing. Brits are massing up their musketeers. British, for his card order, went 3 vills, Virginia Company 5 vills, and then he has just sent a couple upgrades here and there. He's almost to age 3 already. I think I did end up researching statehood, so we have a fast age up to age 3. But yeah, no, he's trying to mass just a couple grenadiers so that he can push forward a little bit. And there's his age 3, aging up with the bishop, of course, for a covered wagon. Now the Hausa player, he's just happily booming away. He's only at 30 vills, but it's a pretty solid amount anyways. He's still in the second age. but he is definitely falling behind everybody. He's the same score as the Lakota player, which is not exactly what you want to see with Hausa. He's got nothing but upgrades, trying to get his units to be as high quality as he possibly can get them. But we have so many matlets here, so many matlets. They're unstoppable. We just started aging to 3 at 14 minutes. You can go much faster if you want. You just send that 700 coin a little bit earlier and start aging sooner. I didn't feel like it, you know. Now, looking in Age 3, we do see that we have U.S. Army and Continental Rangers here. Now, the Continental Rangers are always going to be useful because they can affect your Kree. But U.S. Army is a little bit of an odd choice because, we don't have any heavy infantry, but that's not always going to be the case. These two cards are specifically here to boost whatever natives we do get access to. Now the Brit player is trying to push a little bit on this side. He has carded Musketeers. They're not bad at all. I think he's probably researching veterancy, taking down this trade post. But I've had a spare rickshaw ready to go waiting just for the right moment for when somebody decides that they've had enough of my trade post booming and want to stop me. I can just rebuild it right back up for free. Now the Kree trackers have moved in. They have a little bit of extra attack coming from something. Top tier commentary. They have extra attack from somewhere. And we just cleaned up this whole Brit guy's Musketeer mess. There wasn't much you could do to stop this. He could have tried to run away, but the Rifle Riders would have caught him out. So that got cleaned up very, very nicely. Red's starting to push in from the top here, but now we have Elite Huron Metlets as one of the first upgrades I got upon aging to 3. Now, I sent U.S. Army here thinking that Huron Metlets were heavy infantry. Lo and behold, I find out later they are not, so this card was actually worthless. Oops. I should be engaging. I definitely should be engaging, but I am a dipshit and I am not engaging. There we go. Moving in the Matlets. These Matlets now have 31 attack. They have 338 HP. They are absolute tanks of units here. Just putting a stop to that push in its tracks. Just in its tracks. There we go. Now Continental Rangers is coming in. Now that will buff the Kree Trackers. The Kree Trackers are still Age 2, but they're so tanky that they can get away with it regardless. And now they have over 300... They have 325 HP. Just an insanely high amount of HP for an Age 2 unit, essentially. For an Age 2 skirmisher unit, of all things. The Kree Trackers are just very, very solid at what they do. We're starting to get more Matlets coming out now. And we decide that, this is the time that we're going to push in a little bit. Be a little bit aggressive, see what we can do. We did take care of 2 Falconets on the right side thanks to Lakota's cavalry. Now there are 2 more that are going to be going down momentarily thanks to the Metlets just doing a complete surround. So that is 4 British cannons that are going down the drain. Now that was at the cost of quite a few of my Matlets. I've now gone from 29 to 10. So we recognize that this is probably going to be a losing battle if it extends out very much further. So we should we should keep the engagement going a little bit because we have hurt them quite a bit, but we shouldn't invest too hard. I say as we continue to invest. But these guys these guys are very tanky, and the Levy gunners are not tanky, to say the very least. We're building up native embassies over here. Now we can kind of do a lot of things. We can send rolling artillery. We can send U.S. Marines to buff our Minutemen if we get those. If we choose to get those, we can send Apaches or Seminoles. We can get advanced frontier defenses if we so please. We could get the Kentucky Hunters. We have a lot of options available to us. I end up deciding just to go to Age 4 with Ohio and get some other stuff get access to my Age 4 cards. There are a lot of Age 4 cards that are very important for this build. We have Blood Brothers, which upgrades everything to champion level and gives you a massive score boost that you'll see. Indian Friendship, which is native treaties, but better and stronger, and also boosts attack speed. First Michigan Volunteer Sharpshooters is a great card. This turns our Kree trackers from super tanky skirms into super good tanky skirms. It provides them a charged action that has 25 range and 2 splash and still maintains all of their multipliers. Very, very solid card. Now we have the native embassies, so we're starting to train out the mantlets even more so. And we're just we're enjoying life right now, you know? We are just enjoying life. Getting Kree Textile Craftsmanship, which, if I'm not mistaken, lowers the cost of buildings. I think by this point I had also sent Oregon Trail, so everything here is super, super cheap at the state capital. Up to 24 Huron Mantlets. It is very difficult just to understate, just to understate like how awesome this strategy is. It's really quite something, and it's something you won't really appreciate until you try it. But it is rather versatile. You can boom with the Kree. You can go a little bit more all in by investing more in natives in Age 2. There's our horse artillery. We have a collection of books coming in. And in comes Blood Brothers. Now, Blood Brothers all upgrade native warriors. All native warriors are upgraded to champion level. Now, unbeknownst to me, I discovered this game. This isn't just upgrading the natives that you have access to. It's upgrading every single native on every single map in the game. It's giving you the upgrade for all of them, regardless of whether or not you actually have access. Which means, you know how Heavy Fortifications is a card that that is known for giving you a huge score lead, a huge score boost, and kind of tricking enemies into thinking that you have a higher score than you do. Well, this is that on steroids. So Blood Brothers just came in, and watch what happens to my score. I go from 26,000 to 63,000. That is well over double. That is well over double. That is just an insanely huge increase in score, and it puts me ahead of every other person on the enemy team, just without any competition or anything else. Now we're also sending Indian Friendship, which gives us 60% of our initial build limit in terms of unit shipments. So that will be 8 Kree trackers plus 6 Huron Mantlets coming out, as well as making them train 10% faster and shipping 50% faster. Very, very good card. But now I had reached the build limit of Huron Mantlets before I sent that, so now we're over the build limit at 36. And we also had the build limit for Kree trackers, so that puts us at 21 Kree trackers. And lastly is the Huron Tech here. Now this one here gives us 2 Huron Mantlets as it gives us 1 Huron Mantlet for every 2 minutes of game time that has passed. So at 21 minutes, that's going to provide us at 22 minutes, it's going to provide us 6 more Mantlets, or 11 more Mantlets, if I'm not 11 more Mantlets. That just popped out of here, and now we are at 47 Mantlets out of 1 trade post. And you know what? This is the time to push. I say, hey, let's go. I have a huge force. You know, I have a ton of siege. I have a ton of HP and range resistance. Let's go. And so this is when we start making our push. Now I'm shipping. I aged up with Ohio, so I am shipping Ohio Supply Network. This is a very, very good card here. I will have to look away from the battle for a little bit. But it doubles the income from the trade route for your whole team. So now each pass gives us 123 resources, up from 61.5. It also makes all the natives give +1 XP per second to their trickles. So now all your natives go from trickling 0.35 to 1.35 XP per second. It is just an insanely ridiculous card that provides just a huge amount of value. Now the Mantlets have been doing their job of just completely tanking and absorbing all of the damage. With their insane HP bars and range resistance, these Kree trackers, which are tanky in and of themselves, having over 507 HP, I haven't even lost one yet. And now comes the part where we take advantage of the 7d2 siege of the Huron Mantlets. We come in, do what we can to just siege down everything. The objective here is to siege down and carve our path over to the town center. Because as soon as we destroy this, then I can build a new Huron settlement over here, which will double the amount of Hurons that I have access to. Now, I also shipped the 1st Michigan Volunteers card, which provides 8 sharpshooters and 8 tree trackers, and as well as providing them that Eagle Eye charge action that I explained. Now, the Hausa player has Call It Game here, and the Brit player is Short to Follow. And that is just it. This was just a great game to showcase the strengths, the economic and military strengths of the native settlement, of the native push with USA. That is now possible because of the new changes with the update when it previously wasn't. And so I decided that I wanted to put in a little video about it. So here you guys go. I'm gonna keep playing this so that I learn more about the natives than I ever have before. Thank you guys for watching. This is a really fun strategy. I definitely recommend you guys try it out. Of course, ideally, you do want something that maybe isn't Huron, or at least you can do it with Huron, but maybe isn't just one a native post that you have access to. You want a little bit of a variety. But yeah, that is going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day, and goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This was, as ever, a ton of fun to make. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out, and have a great day.